All right, we will go ahead and call to order the Wednesday, December 4th, 2024 City of Solon regular council meeting. That will start with pledge.
Pledge allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, Doug here, Farlinger here, Gabriel here, Kramer here, and Lauren is absent this evening. For civility pledge, we pledge to promote civility by listening, being respectful of others, and acknowledging that we are all striving to support and improve our community. Perfecting and approval of the agenda. Cami, any updates or changes?
No changes.
With that, we have a motion to perfect and approve the agenda.
I will move to perfect and approve the agenda.
I'll second.
Duncan,
Yes.
Farlinger.
Yes.
Gabriel.
Yes.
Kramer.
Yes.
Next is citizen speak. This is time for anybody to speak on an agenda item tonight. Is there anything? Takes us to consent agenda. That's approval of the minutes from the November 20th, 2024 regular meeting. Approval of the list of bills, treasurer's reports of transfers, building permits, which there are a couple on there, and then the 8th annual Lake McBride Fat Tire Classic event on February 8th, 2025. Is there anybody with that group tonight to speak on that?
We had a Lions meeting last night. John with Sugar Bottom Bikes had
Yeah.
mentioned that there's no changes, real changes to the route. The plan is to have the bacon station at the Timber Dome, which is the main reason for the event application.
All right. And that has gotten very smooth.
Yeah.
From all prior years as well. Do we have a motion to consent the agenda?
I'll move the consent agenda.
All right, Duncan?
Yes.
Farley?
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yeah.
Kramer?
Yes.
It's, to the fire department report. We had an agency meeting like a month ago on that. Call volume is down slightly from a year ago, but they're still staying plenty busy. Still have a couple openings on the department, so if anybody's aware of anybody interested, definitely send them to the fire department to go through interviews for that process. Sheriff's Office report. Any updates? The Sheriff's Office. That takes us to Public Works Director report. Scott.
Leaf collection has ended and, we're doing some maintenance work on equipment, still doing some winterizing on some small engines. Standard.
Library report, Liz.
Yes, it is Winter Library Challenge time, and so all of December and January, every time you come to a library activity, you earn a secret code, or when you check out from our different collections. So there are brochures that you can use, paper forms to fill out your secret codes, or you can do it online on Read Squared. Once you have 4 secret codes, you can turn in a slip for a small prize and for a chance for to win a grand prize. There's 3 options. We started this years ago in the hopes of getting people into the library during these cold, dark winter months and something fun to do. And it is for all ages. There are special prize shelves specifically for adults and teens. So don't think it's just for kids, it's for everybody, good family activities. I attended the Johnson County Legislators Reception. Every year, the Johnson County Libraries host the Johnson County legislators to come and hear about what the libraries are doing. The theme this year was how we welcome our diverse communities and that Johnson County libraries are for everyone. So we each presented a couple slides detailing all of the different services that we're doing. It's a great evening. You get to see what Iowa City Public Library all the way down to Oxford and Swisher, and we're sort of in the middle there of all the different services we're able to provide and resources. So that was great. On Saturday will be the Friends of the Library puzzle sale. Their sale starts at 8 a.m. and goes till noon. It lines up well. You could go there first and then head over to the Family Life Center for the holiday tree walk, which starts at 10. And then next week, a week from Saturday, is our gingerbread house activity. So people can come and make houses in person or pick up kits, and it's also fun for all night. Working with Recreation Department, we're showing the Polar Express, so 6 p.m. games and 7 p.m. movies. everything. If anybody has any questions about my.
All right, thanks, Liz. Thank you. City engineer, Dave?
Thanks, Jim. Couple of things that we're looking over, Trail Ridge has submitted a preliminary plat for part 3B. So we previously looked at part 3A. This is, their second part they want to do for that. You're reviewing that, work with Scott and get, comments together. And we also have the senior housing site plan that is comprehensive looking through. Trying to get comments for those, you'll see those before too long. City's been working on a few things associated with the wastewater plant. Been working on trying to get things ready for a video for public outreach, and they've taken some drone footage, have some photos. We're working on putting that together shortly and try to get that out, so that the public understands what's going to happen, why we're doing it, conditions, existing plant, those sort of things. I've got a few layouts here that I'll pass around. Our next steps on the wastewater plant are to take these layouts, and we're working through doing cost estimates and write-ups for these, and the manufacturers have provided information as far as performance on these systems to meet the wastewater limits that were assigned for our designated discharge points. And the first one we'll talk through is the preferred option. We'll go through this one first, and then I'll pass out the second option. So this first option is what's called a carousel system. It's essentially the same type of process that Scott currently has down at the wastewater plant with a ditch, but this one has a little bit set up into a system that is manufactured by Carousel, which is what we refer to it as a carousel system. But two large trains that use rotors to stir the water, and that aerates it just from the mixing action as well, so we don't have to have blowers or anything like that for this system. The way that we would come in is on the left side, you see the screen. Once the water comes in from the gravity sewer, goes in there, we take out some of the bigger stuff that we don't want to run through the wastewater plant, and the grit, which is the fine material that damages some of that equipment and also settles out in those large basins and creates a little bit of a challenge from a maintenance standpoint. So that gets removed there. We run it up to that aeration basin, and that's where the biological activity happens to break down the wastewater. You'll see just to the right of there, there's a admin and lab building that's going to have a gathering space in it as well, have the restrooms, the lab where they can do some testing. And then if you go south of there in the middle, you'll see the clarifiers. And then after it goes through there, the clean water goes out and that gets discharged to the discharge point after it goes through the UV disinfection. And the stuff on the bottom of that clarifier, the sludge, gets run through either back up to the aeration basins, or we'll send some of it that we want to waste down to the dewatering building, or the aeration aerobic digester, and then the dewatering building, and we'll store it in the biosolid storage. So these are the steps that we're including in this process. We just need to put through the information that demonstrates that we meet the limits, and then the cost estimates. Put that all in the anti-degradation report, compare it to the other alternatives, and then we'll be able to get to a point once we have that approved that we can go through the official facility planning and get that submitted so we can get on the DNR's IUP. One of the other processes that we're looking at is what's called Paramod. So instead of having the separate clarifiers and some of these other separate aeration tank, it puts everything all together. The digester is included in that large rectangle in the center. And it just has a series of small cells in common wall, so you save a little bit on the building cost because of the common wall construction. Still has a biosolid storage building and dewatering, and it still has the screen at the very beginning and the UV disinfection at the end. But it's that part of that treatment that instead of having the carousel system and the clarifiers and the aerobic digester, it's all included in one large complex. So you'll see on both of those that we have the dark blue. That's what we would do as part of the first phase. And then we would have the future, if we grow, it just shows where we would build the next units to accommodate growth beyond our design capacity. So it sets it up pretty well. You can see the space that we purchased does start to fill up. So we didn't purchase a whole lot extra as far as that west end. The east side, we had talked about reserving maybe for public works and some park stuff. But this site does accommodate quite a bit. It takes care of our 20-year need and then also has room for expansion. So it's a pretty good site. And even beyond this, you see that there's still room if we need to do put some additional facilities in, we can get there. So Well, it seemed like a big lot, it does start to show up, but definitely leaves room for future.
They, just to confirm, what I heard is that the design that we're doing is for a 20-year
Yes,
coverage.
and that was with some pretty aggressive growth, so that's 10,000 population equivalent, that's what we're planning for, which, is pretty healthy. Given that we're somewhere in that 3,500 to 4,000, depending on what our building permits and the population is right now. Any questions from anybody? No. Once we get this submitted to DNR with the anti-degradation analysis, we'll ask them for their review timeline. That can vary from a couple of months to 6 months, just depending upon staff availability. Once they have that from them, we'll give you an updated schedule.
Thanks, Dave. Next, city attorney, Kevin, anything?
Nothing.
All right, takes us down to old business, slide 14, ordinance number 488, the rezoning application for Fox Ridge Part 1A, lot 4 and 5. This is the third final reading. Any updates from previous meetings that you have for us, Kim?
Just a refresher, this is for the rezoning of the lots for the senior housing. Which, as Dave mentioned, they have submitted a site plan. So PNC will be reviewing that. This is now the third and final reading, so we will, then, publish and record this, upon approval. And then that will enact the formal rezoning, has occurred at that point. So really nothing new to report on this, just the final step in that process.
I'll move to approve, ordinance 488.
I'll second.
Duncan?
Yes.
Farley?
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Kramer? Yes. All right, takes us to item 15, ordinance number 489, the city zoning map, for 2024. This is also the third and final reading. Cammy, anything?
Just third and final reading, so we can, formally, move forward, with approval and recording of the city zoning map.
I'll move to approve ordinance number 49. I'll second.
Duncan? Yes. Farley?
Yes.
Gabriel?
Yes.
Kramer?
Yes.
All right, takes us to new business, resolution number 2439, this is Spartan Hollow Part 2 final plat, in the 2 mile fringe area. Cammy?
Yeah, so the, Johnson County, notified me of a final plat for Spartan Hollow Part 2. This is actually a 1-lot subdivision. Next here, you could probably explain a little bit about the reasoning behind that. I did have Dave review it. This is in our 2 mile fringe area, so this is an area 2 where the council has the option to review and comment. There is no formal approval required or needed. However, our practice has been to review anything in the 2 mile radius consistently, and for council to at least have the opportunity to comment. This was a larger development, then typically our recommendation would be for council to send it back to planning and zoning. But because it is a 1-lot subdivision, that might not be necessary in this case. I'd ask Dave maybe to weigh in, and then Nick can share kind of the reasoning behind the 1 additional lot at this time versus its original plan was to be part of that next phase. So I anticipate there will be a phase 3 now at some point.
So the county has, within 1 year of the original final plat, you have to final plat an additional phase.
I see.
So the additional phase then can be as small as 1. So originally the plan was just gonna be phase 1 and then phase 2 and everything would be done, or maybe over 5 or however many years. But now there'll be this one, a year from now, there'll probably be 1 more, a year from then, maybe 1 more, and then the rest of them within 5 years of the original final plat.
This is just a placeholder to not break that.
To
chain
keep
and have to
keep
go back.
progress going for their requirement.
That's what it appeared. It's just 1 lot that was consecutive with the previous lots. They did it as taking it from the next phase and moving it up. So broke it out from phase 2 and this phase 2. It didn't seem like there was any reason for us to comment on it. It's consistent with what they had planned before. It's just a phasing plan. So
This year pickleball a lot, right?
No, not
Any questions, comments?
I'll move to approve resolution 2439.
Duncan,
Yes.
Farley,
Yes.
Gabriel,
Yeah.
Kramer.
Yes.
That takes us to item 17, capital improvement planning.
Thank you.
So this agenda item is really a placeholder to really just begin a longer discussion that we're gonna be having heading into budget season. I wanted to provide the council a refresher of what the capital improvement project list looked like last year, just to see, how things were prioritized per department. Some of these things have been completed. Some have not, some may need to move a little higher up into a priority. Really, it's just, really an opportunity for council to just be refreshed as we're heading into those deeper conversations, heading into budget. If there are any projects not on this list, please let me know. I've also asked all the directors to take some time to look at this list and make any, recommendations that they'd like to see. So we'll be bringing those all together for those budget discussions, but really wanted to, our goal here for, the next 6 months is to do a formal update to our capital improvement plan. This is just the list. The plan is more of a document. And so we're gonna need to know council's priorities, because for those priority projects, we'll then be working on bids and getting that into the formal plan. And so we need to kind of know where we need to focus our time and our efforts. Also, this is really the council's first year of this council working together. And we as staff need to know what your priorities are as a council, so we know where to focus. And then, in addition to the capital improvement plan, I'm also going to be bringing a proposal for the comprehensive plan update, and these kind of go together in sync. So really, it's just a preview to some discussions that are coming, so take some time to look at this. If there's a project on here that we've talked about, but you're not seeing, or you have concerns about, or you feel is a higher priority, just be prepared that we're going to be having those deeper discussions in January. No real action needed, just really just kind of a preparation.
I have quite the list on there already. All right, that takes us down to other business, council committees, streets, the Steinach Street property survey.
We have an opportunity a possible opportunity at some property adjacent to Steinacher that the streets committee is provided us some direction on. We'll have probably a better update for the council at the next meeting, but just some preliminary discussions, an opportunity that came up unexpectedly that we're just doing some initial investigating on.
And with utilities, it's like utility forgiveness request. Is it at Gallery Acres or two different?
No, this was it wasn't at Gallery Acres. The committee has been reviewing a utilities request, and also we are working on arranging a meeting with Gallery Acres, because McBride Point has submitted a formal application to Gallery Acres to hook onto city water. So I'm working with Dave and Scott to coordinate their schedule, and I'll be reaching out to the utilities committee here in the next week or so.
All right. With finance, long-term debt review, I think you mentioned that in the last meeting that we'll be working on just with, as far as the bonding capacity,
Yep.
just kind of prepping for the wastewater treatment plant.
Yep, I have a meeting with Heidi. We're gonna get some of the preliminary updates done, and then we'll have the finance committee review it so that it's ready for council review in January. So stay tuned. I'll be reaching out to the finance committee.
All right, nothing for building needs, the police committee on the stray animal policy. Thanks for sending that out to us. I know that, Andrew, Lauren, we all thought that looked really good. So appreciate the time, effort going into that and wrapping up some of the loose ends from the police contract that we have. Then the last one, the city school, the SRNA draft review, the updates.
I'm about 90% done with the review. I'm gonna send it out to the committee probably tomorrow with their blessing. I'll then send it on to Davis. And then there was one more, committee personnel that I will be reaching out to personnel very shortly here because we have some, conversations we need to have heading into budget about coal and some other items. So all the committees are kind of on standby here because we got a lot of things going. So hopefully, I'll be reaching out to those committees and we'll just work a time. Well, whether it's Zoom or in person, we'll figure it out to get together.
Thanks for all those updates. Takes a city clerk report. Susan, anything? Tammy, city administrator comments?
I just wanted to, restate what Dave said that, we just got the preliminary plat for Trail Ridge Part 3B and the senior housing site plan. Those would all typically go in front of the P and Z at the end of the month, but with the holidays, we're still working on that holiday schedule. So I'll let you know when that planning and zoning meeting is scheduled for. I'm still working on that. But those are both projects we expected to come through. And I think you've seen the concept of both of those, so nothing real surprising. But I'll let the council know when that planning and zoning meeting is set. We're just not sure right now.
Council comments? Alright, same here for mayor comments. Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move to adjourn.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thanks.